Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Kira and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be doing a makeup and mystery and we are going to be talking about Michael Jackson because I was really in the mood to to listen to Michael Jackson music lately, so kind of been into it. I'm a giant fan of Michael Jackson, in case you guys didn't know. Michael Jackson is known as the King of Pop. And Brandon and I actually had a conversation, because I still talk to Brandon about our kids, about Michael Jackson not that long ago, actually. I actually listen to Michael Jackson's music a lot still. They're really good compared to like music nowadays. And there's like serious like theories surrounding his death. Alright, so let's kind of like get into it. So of course we know Michael Jackson, the King of Pop, did pass away in 2009, and he had passed away from an overdose, which we think we've actually talked about overdoses a little bit on in celebrities in this series. And I know I've brought it up, I think in my Marilyn Monroe episode, where we talked a little bit about Marilyn Monroe, about why celebrities are even able to get their hands on drugs when they abuse them. And I'm not saying like Michael Jackson actually had a reason to kind of like be addicted to pain pills, I guess you could say, because he actually did go through a traumatic experience where he had his hair burned off, so like he actually had a reason to be on pain medicine. So I can't fault that. But then, it does kind of suck that, like, he got addicted to it. I know my brother, Corey, when he had hernia surgery a few years ago, he would not take any pain medicine because he was afraid of getting addicted to the pain pills. So he wouldn't take any pain medicine for his pain because my brother's sadistic like that. And actually, Corey just had head surgery a couple months ago, and he wouldn't take any pain, like any of the narcotic pain meds that they prescribed for him for that either. Because I actually remember giving Corey my, I had been given like ibuprofen after I had Jackson, and I still had some left over because I healed pretty quickly when I had the boys. So I didn't really use the pain pills, so I ended up giving my brother the ibuprofen because mine was 600 milligrams. So like I said, I ended up giving my pain pills to my brother so my brother could have something to help with his pain, because I mean, like, I wasn't gonna let my brother sit in pain when the pills were literally not gonna get used by me. Like, I wasn't gonna use them. It had been like 3 months since I had Jackson, I think. No, 2. I didn't need them anymore. I wasn't gonna use them. So I can understand that kind of perspective of like he was in so much pain that like he needed them, and then he ended up getting addicted to them, unfortunately. So like I said, I understand that. All right, so the story goes is that there's so many theories, so I guess we can start with the I feel most commonly believed one, and that is the fact that Michael Jackson was murdered. And this is really widely believed, in my opinion, because, I mean, his doctor, Dr. Conrad Murray, actually was convicted of his death. So, to understand this, you kind of need to understand, Dr. Conrad Murray was Michael Jackson's most, like, professional doctor, like his personal doctor, and he would administer propofol to Michael Jackson, which is actually the drug that they give you to put you to sleep before surgery. So it's like a heavy-duty drug. And because Michael Jackson, I guess, was an insomniac, so that was how he would go to sleep, was with this medicine. And he had to have the doctor there to administer it because obviously, it's a very serious drug. It's very, very easy to overdose on. Obviously. It's why it's administered in a hospital, and it's a serious drug, and it literally gets used for surgeries. So, apparently the story from Dr. Murray goes is that he like had left Michael Jackson for I don't know why he had left Michael Jackson when he was under this drug, but he had apparently left him, and when he came back is when Michael Jackson wasn't breathing, and he had like tried to do like CPR and stuff like that, but then we have statements from Michael Jackson's security guards stating that he wasn't doing the CPR correctly, because if you don't know, when you do CPR, you're supposed to administer it with the person on a hard surface so you aren't pushing back. And Dr. Murray, who is a doctor who you would think would know this, was doing it when Michael Jackson was in bed. So that is probably like that's one of the bigger reasons why I believe people believe Michael Jackson was murdered, is because it just doesn't add up. And I actually am one to believe that I do think he was murdered. I think that there are multiple reasons why he could have been murdered. I don't know the exact reason, but there are multiple reasons why, which we are going to talk about. And like I said, Dr. Murray actually was convicted of Michael Jackson's death and spent, I think, 2 years in jail. I think. And he actually lost his right to practice in California. And that is another thing that is big to remember, is that Dr. Murray did lose his license in California. Like, he lost the right to practice. Like, no longer doctor. No longer a doctor. Because I think that that is important information for further in the story. Like, I think that that is important information, so remember that. My light died. Oh well, I'm gonna continue. So the story goes is that Dr. Murray was hired by AEG Live, who was producing Michael Jackson's final tour, the This Is It tour, to basically take him out, because Michael Jackson at the time was apparently worth more dead than alive. So that's how the story goes, is that he was worth more dead than alive, and he was like really in debt, which actually was one of the reasons Michael came back to do a This Is It tour, was because he wanted to be done with the music industry, but he also was in debt and wanted to make a little bit of money, because I mean, the man was a fucking musical genius. Nobody can tell me that the man was not a musical genius, because I think he actually ended up selling more records than anybody. Like any celebrity. Which I can kind of see, because, I mean, he was really, really talented. I mean, like, to this day, I still listen to Michael Jackson. I was actually, I'm probably going to listen to him tonight, because I've been thinking so much about, like, this case. I actually have the This Is It, movie, and watching it is, like, so surreal, because it's like, oh my god. These brushes, by the way, are so nice. It's like, oh my god, like, I would have loved to have seen that tour, because it actually looks like he had really, really put some thought into it. And, like, he was really into it, and you could just, like, kind of, like, tell. I mean, like, he was 50 years old, and he was out performing people who was half his age. You know how hard that is? Like, I can barely freaking run around with Kai without coughing up a fucking lung, and I don't even smoke anything. I just don't have the energy to run around with my children. But I mean, like, also, Michael Jackson was a part of the Jackson 5. I mean, he's been a celebrity his whole entire life, and he was in the paparazzi's eye a lot. I mean, like, I think Michael Jackson actually got chased by the paparazzi, like, so much more than like other celebrities. Like we talked a little bit about it with Princess Diana, how she was always being chased by the paparazzi. I think that it was the same thing for Michael Jackson, because I actually remember when I was researching the Princess Diana story, Michael Jackson had actually came out and was talking about like how he wanted the press to leave him alone, because when Princess Diana had first died in the crash, it was believed that the paparazzi chasing her had caused it, which is a reason to be scared of the paparazzi, because they want that next scoop, they want the next big thing, they want to be the first ones to get it, because if you're the first one to get it, obviously that's where the money is. I'm opening a brand new one of these contour sticks. I've been using these as concealer. Not very, very creamy, but it's just what I've been using. And Michael Jackson had actually been like, I feel like he was riddled with controversy really when he was alive. The poor man was really chased a lot. But he had actually been accused of like dyeing his skin white because his skin lightened over time, and it was actually confirmed after his death that he did have vitiligo, and he had always told people like, oh, I just have vitiligo, and nobody believed him. They thought that he wanted to be white, so he would purposely lighten his skin. It's like, it's kind of stupid that the man's death had to happen to prove that he wasn't purposefully bleaching his skin. And if he was purposefully bleaching his skin, is it any of our business anyway what the man does? I mean, like, yes, I understand that he was a performer, but he also had the right to privacy, same as anybody, because he shares his life with his fans when he performs, but he should have as much right to privacy in his own home as you or I. You know, like, you guys wouldn't come to my house trying to figure out what I do in my free time when I'm not filming videos. At least I don't think. Please don't come to my house. Like, ever. I'm a hermit. I don't do much. I'm boring. So, he was riddled with controversy in the sense of there's always been this stigma around him about was he a child molester or not. And this is what actually inspired me to talk about this on Makeup and Mystery, is because this is the topic Brandon and I brought up. And that is Michael Jackson a child molester or not? I can't say for certain if he was or if he wasn't. I don't think really anybody can, because the only people that actually know what happened is, unfortunately, Michael Jackson, who's dead, and his potential victims, who also, if they come out and say it, they're not going to be 100% believed, which is sad. I actually don't think that he was a child molester, and this is just my personal opinion, because Michael Jackson was in the spotlight from the age of like 5. But Michael Jackson was in the spotlight from the age of like 5 until his death when he was 50. And I just think that, like, because he kind of like had to grow up fast, that is why he kind of like was more around children. Like, wanted to be around children is because like he was subconsciously trying to live his childhood out, and I think he went about it in the wrong way. But again, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong. It's just my personal opinion from like what I personally think, because I don't want to believe that, and I'm sure a lot of people are like this, I don't want to believe that a man who is as talented as he is, and a man that I actually really like and I idolize as a performer, is this like bad person. Like, I don't think anybody wanted to believe it. But in the end, he did end up settling with his victims in out of court. And that's another thing, is because he is such a huge celebrity and had so much money, there was so many reasons for people to want to lie, to hurt him, to get his money. I mean, like, there's so many reasons, because I mean, like, it's Michael Jackson. I mean, and he didn't fight the cases. That's just it. He didn't really fight the cases. He just kind of like wanted them to disappear. And I can't really blame him for that. I mean, I feel like I probably would be the same way, where I'm like, for me personally, when it's something really bad like that, I just want it to disappear. Even if I didn't do it, I would love to prove my innocence, but at the same time, in a situation like that, it's super hard to prove your innocence. And no matter what, he still had that stigma around him. So, and he was found not guilty. I think that that is something very important. He was actually found not guilty in the court of law on a child molestation case. So there is that information also, is that he was not found guilty. He was found not guilty. So another thing that people find weird is that they had publicized his funeral. Like, they had an actual, like, televised funeral for him, for his fans to be able to honor him. And it was a closed casket. Now, I actually went to a funeral when I was little. I went to my grandfather's funeral on my mother's side, and his was an open casket, and it was very traumatizing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually kind of glad my other grandfather, who passed away a couple years ago, he wanted to be cremated. So I'm really glad I didn't have to go through that again, because it was pretty traumatizing. And I always remember, like, that is the last memory I have of my grandfather. But people take that as the meaning of, like, him, like, them doing a closed casket is because Michael Jackson faked his own death. That is the conspiracy theory, that he faked his own death. And I have so much to say about this. I don't think he faked his own death. But the reasons people have for saying that he faked his own death is because of the casket, obviously, and there's been so many Michael Jackson sightings, but I mean, like, he was the king of pop, so he has imitators, obviously. But Michael Jackson, and it's really well known, is that he was really in debt, which is why he wanted to do the This Is It tours, because he was in debt. And again, Michael Jackson was worth more dead than alive, because when a celebrity dies, their music sales really go up. I mean, look at Prince's. Prince's music sales really went up. And I mean, like, TV channels played his movies, like, on and off, like, for like a month after Prince passed away. And so people say that Michael faked his own death and did it to pay off the debt he was in, because he was in debt. We do know this. Okay, I'm back. So again, the reason I have problems with this theory is because Conrad Murray, the doctor, is convicted of the murder of Michael Jackson, of causing the death of Michael Jackson. And Michael's family even says that he was murdered, that they believe he was murdered. And of course, people think that he faked it. He paid his, like, he asked his family to say he was dead. He would have had to have paid Conrad Murray off to fake it. He would have had to do so much just to fake his own death. And the manner that it happened. And I even remember where I was when I found out Michael Jackson was dead. I was literally in my room, and I found out from my brother's friend. Which, Tommy, if you were watching this, yes, I'm talking about you. But I don't think that he would have done that because he would have had to pretty much ruin someone's life. And, if you know anything as a Michael Jackson fan, you'd know that he really was really well known for wanting to be a dad and wanting to be a parent and wanting to have kids. Why would he leave his kids? Because his kids were, I remember them being targeted in the press, so he couldn't be around them. And they were actually taken under custody of his mother. So they were raised by his mother because his kids were young when he passed away, unfortunately. But there is theories that he's still alive and that he faked his own death. So my question is, let's start talking down below, of course, about this theory. Is Michael Jackson alive? Do you guys think Michael Jackson is alive? Why do you think he's alive? Why do you not think he's alive? My personal reflect of the theory is I think he is dead. But I do think he was killed for a purpose of the fact that AEG Live saw that Michael Jackson would be worth more dead than alive, and they wanted that money. So that's what I think happened. But anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. All that social media great stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye, guys.